What is up, everybody? Today is July 28th, 2026, and LeBron James is a fucking 76er. God dang it. What is he doing? Anyways, we got a great show today. I'll tell you what, it's the slowest week in the sports calendar, so we're fighting through it a little bit. But we're going to cover a little bit the LeBron James saga, him going to Philly, what that means for the rest of the league, the rest of the Eastern Conference. We'll jump into a little bit of footy, trouble in the transfer paradise. We got Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein going to blows on Twitter, as well as a couple of other people. We got a giveaway today. We're giving away the 26-27 Arsenal away hat. Hold on, let me pull it up. There it is. To enter, you gotta go to RYT. I can't say specifically, otherwise Twitch, Twitter, I'm saying all the wrong ones. TikTok gets mad, but that's what we're giving away today. End of the episode. It's super easy to enter. You just join our Discord, and then you basically comment your favorite team in the entry channel, and then you're good to go. And you have a chance. We'll do it live at the end of the show. Now, that said, these were just released, so don't expect them to get them like tomorrow or something. This is like literally, we're talking about maybe 2-3 weeks away, but we're giving this away at the end of the episode, so stay tuned for that. But we'll talk a little F1. Lando Norris back on top of the poll. We have a little footy recap, or football, not footy. We'll talk about footy too, but we'll do a little football as well. Then we'll talk a little PCA and his MVP case. We have a great show, everybody. Welcome back. Still trying to get into the flow of things post World Cup. 6 weeks on the road, and it doesn't feel normal anymore. But we're here. We're out here. We got a new layout on the main channels on YouTube, on Twitch. So we've been messing around with that. To be honest, I've been working all day on it. So it's good that we got live at 3 o'clock. I thought for a second that we might not be getting live somehow. But anyways, you want to join the entry, hop over on YouTube, !enter to get started. Super easy. I'm not going to try and collect any. Also, by the way, I've heard that there's like impersonators out there when you do these things. So just know the DM's going to come from me, like from the Bi-Weekly Chronicles channel, or possibly a guy named Bombay, who's the admin, who's also me, by the way, in our Discord. So that's all you got to know on that piece. But let's get into it. Hold on. I got some new, let's see right here. Boom. We got a new topic board. We got everything flowing a little easier, and of course this doesn't look right, so we're gonna do some live editing for you guys. Side topics, unlock that. We're gonna move that over, make it a little smaller. And there you go. Now we got a live edit. So, LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. And I'll tell you what, how did we not see it coming? How do we not see it coming? He signs a 2-year deal, worth $8 million, a player option for the second year, which, yes, that means we're probably going to have him opt out, and we will be doing this again come summer next year. But that's what LeBron does. He likes to command the entire media world. He waited for the slowest media week of the year for sports, and then he dropped the news, and he's got everybody on ESPN and Barstool and all these other websites, whatever, all saying the same thing. LeBron James is chasing rings. And you know what? Credit to him, man. Credit to him. To be honest, I wish he would have just trolled us and done like a whole decision thing and like hopped on ESPN again and then made like Cleveland again think that he was going there, and then also made Miami think. And then we had the Miami social team. I guess the guy was like trying to get ahead of his vacation time, and so he was like pre-scheduling a post just in case they got LeBron, which that guy definitely got fired when he got back from vacation. But that's neither here nor there. But 2-year deal, $8 million. It's basically a vet min. I mean, what more like can you ask for from a team? I mean, Joel Embiid, this is probably going to be the healthiest you'll ever see him. He'll probably actually play this season. They obviously traded for Jaylen Brown with Paul. They traded Paul George for Jaylen Brown in the offseason. The team is on paper: Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James, Dean Wade. Their team on paper is just it makes sense. It's Brady going to Tampa. That's all it is. It's Brady going to Tampa, and credit to. I really hope there's rumors that they're not going to run these jerseys back that you're seeing here. Like, this is just obviously just like AI bullshit, and they're saying that they're gonna be fucking stupid and not use the AI 76ers jerseys. There's no way they can't do this. If they don't give us the AI 76ers jersey, we will revolt. We will absolutely revolt. But on paper, the East is absolutely loaded now. But does this make LeBron James a ring chaser? Absolutely. How could it not be? That this guy it's truly like it's what he's got to do. Now, I got to say, he's the all-time scoring leader with nothing left to prove. He has 4 championships already. He's got his son into the league. He got his son a job in like the true American-made man fashion. You build your way up in corporate America and get your son a job, and then you just peace out. What better version of a father could you ask for in LeBron James? So what are we working with here? The Eastern Conference has now gone from complete jokes to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. The teams other than, I guess, the Nets and then the Bucks, I guess the Bulls too, because the Bulls are never really good, and I guess the Hornets, every team, I guess the Pistons, every team in one way or another got better, right? You have Halliburton coming back for the Pacers, so that'll be just a bump for them, right? You have Giannis went to the Heat. You have the Sixers obviously getting LeBron, Kawhi going back to the Raptors. The Knicks are the champions. The Celtics are retooled and now like somehow the underdogs with Jason Tatum still in play, right? You got new draft picks coming in Washington and Chicago, top picks, also AD in Washington, right? So you have a pretty loaded Eastern Conference, and that doesn't even mention the Magic or the Hawks. And obviously I'm a Magic fan, and this is, we'll talk about the Magic in a second, where they're going, what we're doing. But, if it's me, if you're a fan of any team in the Eastern Conference, you should be a little bit worried, because it's gotten competitive for the first time in, I can't even really remember a time where the East was very much more competitive than the West. I would say maybe no, because all those years that the Heat, LeBron, it was what, Paul George and the Pacers was their biggest competition. So, I mean, who are we to say that? I mean, I don't know. What I would say is that I kind of lost my train of thought, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's rank these teams on. Let's rank these Eastern Conference teams. I mean, 1-1. You got to take the Knicks. Obviously, they're coming off a championship season. They've proven that they're capable of winning. They've proven that they have probably the most clutch player in the league right now, Jaylen Brunson. It's pretty clear that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with again, and you got to give it to the Knicks at 1-1 overall. Second best team in the Eastern Conference. I mean, you kind of got to go to 76ers, right? I mean, they bringing in LeBron, Embiid will be healthy again, bringing in Jaylen Brown. I mean, what is Brad Stevens thinking? The gamble that he made to trade Jaylen Brown. He probably felt, I mean, all the advanced analytics on Twitter were saying that this was the best move because Jaylen Brown's not worth the money that he's being paid. And so you ship him off to like what seems like NBA wasteland in Philadelphia. And somehow Philly comes out of this with LeBron fucking James and the best starting five that we've seen in how many fucking years? I mean, Jesus Christ. It's actually truly incredible. So two's got to go to Philly. 3, I'm gonna this is gonna be a bold take. This is bold take, but I'm gonna put my Orlando Magic, and I'll tell you exactly why. This team was incredibly hurt over the. I can't even say it. I can't even fucking say it with a straight face. But let's go through some tiers. I found this online. I liked it because they put the Magic as contenders. But I'm pretty okay with it, to be honest. Conference finalists, 76ers, Knicks, OKC, Spurs. I mean, the really shitty thing about all this, you got to say, is that the conference finalists are basically booked. Like, what more, like, what other teams are coming in this, right? I mean, I want to say my Orlando Magic. I do think with Sean Sweeney, they're going to be a completely different team, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, Minnesota, maybe. Boston, maybe. Like Jason Tatum playing with a chip on his shoulder, trying to take out Jaylen Brown. Boston lost to Philly last year, and then they got rid of what they thought was the problem in Jaylen Brown. And now, I mean, what a series that will be. Please just give us Philly versus Boston, 7 games. That would be incredible. So probably not Boston, though. Detroit, I don't think Detroit got any better. Detroit's one of those teams that was good, and they're kind of treading water right now. Cleveland, obviously they went all in to get LeBron, and they came out without him, so can't consider them much better, right? Minnesota, it's just the same old story. Like, are they going to be able to get past OKC? Are they going to be able to get past the Spurs? So I'll tell you what, the Spurs are going to get better, right? Now, I'll talk about my Magic in a second, but Toronto may be the only one with Kawhi coming to the East. But, I mean, has Kawhi cared about playing basketball for the last, 10 years since he won the championship in 2019? I don't think so. Kawhi has stopped giving a fuck. So I wouldn't throw him in there either. And then so the dark horse category, Miami, they have no backcourt. Like, who is their point guard? Tell me. Like, if you in chat, if you got it, don't even look it up. Who's their point guard? You don't know because they don't have one, right? They got Giannis and Bam, but someone's got to get them the ball. I guess you could run Giannis in a point forward situation, but still little tough. Dallas, Cooper Flag's obviously going to be better. The team, I just don't see it with any of these other teams, man. And then you go all the way down. The Nuggets, are they really going to start? Is Jokic going to start trusting the Nuggets and start playing hard again? Where do the Rockets sit? The Lakers with Luka and everybody. The guy that made this is obviously he's kind of trolling a bunch of people because he's put first round exit as the Lakers. But that's true. They're probably like LeBron. The Lakers in post LeBron era, I can't imagine are gonna. I guess they might be better. I don't know. We'll give it a chance. But My Orlando Magic, I'll talk about it just because I've been neglecting NBA since we traveled around for the World Cup, and I like ignored all the trades. I everything, basically every single thing that was outside of the World Cup, I did not pay a damn attention to at all. So, Orlando Magic's depth chart, team hasn't changed at all. They've got rid of a couple of players. They brought in Nikola Vucevic, which is a hero in the organization, to say the least. He's still lives in Orlando. It's great to have him come back on a team-friendly deal. The big change is obviously Sean Sweeney. So, I mean, the team kind of just stopped playing for their coach at the end of the last season. Like, they just really did not click with Jamal Mosley at all. And you could see it in the players. You could see it in the huddles. You could see it in the body language. And so this team is in a perfect position to, well, you don't want all your opponents to get better when you're struggling, obviously, so that's not great. But they're in a perfect position to at least have people notice, or not notice, I guess you should say, have people not give them any expectations and then actually have a chance to fucking succeed. So we'll see what they look like within the Sean Sweeney era. I'll do, when we get a little closer to the preseason, we'll do a full breakdown, team by team, conference by conference. Obviously we're Orlando Magic fans here, so we're gonna talk about the Magic before anybody else. But next on the list we have Steph Curry. So it's now being reported that I got a better one for this. Let's do this. I think. Let me see. TikTok guys, you don't know what's going on, but basically that was not better, but it's okay. We'll go here. I think this is where I just was. Fuck it. We'll stay here. So Steph Curry is now being reported that he is not on the same page with the Golden State Warriors, which is a pretty sad sight to see. The Warriors were in contention to bring in LeBron. I do think that there was a really good chance that LeBron was going to go there. Obviously, these two played together in the Olympics and won the gold medal. And you've seen them talk about how would it be like to play together. And so it's really disappointing as, a pseudo Golden State fan and more of just a Steph Curry fan to see these guys, not actually get together. I mean, I get why LeBron didn't do it. Golden State's turning into Golden State now, right? Steph, Draymond, and co are all pretty old. And now that the Warriors missed out on LeBron, Joe Lacob and the crew are reporting that they will be moving in a different direction or not on the same page as Steph Curry. So, hey, Steph Curry, you won a bunch of championships for us and made us billions of dollars in franchise value. You know how we're going to repay you? By moving on from you before you're finished with your career. So now it's spiked up that he could be moving, and the speculation is like where. I mean, he'd say the only other place, for the first time in a long time, he mentioned the other day that the only other place he'd play other than Golden State is Charlotte. And so I don't think Charlotte's the best team for him to go to. I would love for him to go to an actual contender. Like, what teams can Steph Curry plug into right now and make a really meaningful difference? It pains me to say this, but if he went to the Miami Heat, one, it's, great golf. Two, and he's a big golfer. Two, Miami Heat organization, the way they take care of their bodies is probably the only equivalent to what Steph Curry does on his daily basis. So emulate similar forms of athleticism and workout regimen. And three, like I just said not too long ago, they do not have a backcourt. So, I mean, they have incredible front court with Giannis and Bam. You throw Steph in that equation. I think the Miami Heat probably the best team that could come out of Steph Curry. I mean, I guess other than I would love to throw the Magic in there. I'm not going to toot on the Magic, but the Magic are also missing a point guard. So, there's a couple of teams out there that really, really could benefit from him. I really think if Steph went to the East, it would break my heart. I mean, Steph Curry needs to retire Golden State Warrior. And then it's a shame that Joe Lacob And all of his rich friends haven't made enough money off of Steph, and so they're going to move on from his ass. It's like, no. Trade for whatever you got to do. Put your franchise in the pits. If you can get one more championship out of Steph, maybe that's what they're saying. Maybe they're just saying this, and there's nothing we can do. No LeBron, no Curry. I don't know. I mean, 4 championships, 2 MVPs, a unanimous MVP. I mean, the guy did it all. Broke the record for amount of threes shot. I mean, at the end of the day, Steph Curry had an incredible career. So, should they fucking stick with him? I think so, my opinion. But should they also try and move on from him should they not move on from him? Should they respect what he's asking if he wants to move on? Yes, 100%. Like, you have to. Anyways, let's get into the next topic. Oh, I got my transfer set up. Shit. Here we go. Where am I at? One talk on the bad radio. There we go. Oh, shit. That's not what I want to do, too. God damn it, guys. That's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. Next topic. Mayo broke the curse. So we always start each show with the best thing that we saw since our last episode. If you're any fan of sports, you will know that there is no sports on right now. And so this actually went viral. To set the stage a little bit, this is Irish Gaelic football. Mayo, yes, that's the real name of a team, not just a condiment. Won the All-Ireland final, beating Kerry 1-20 to 1-17. No clue what that scoring means, but I assume that's like the first number is like number of games won, and it's like first to like best of 3 would be my guess. At Croke Park, again, another real name, not fake. Their first since Sam Maguire in 1951. So what is the significance of it? In 1951, a priest supposedly put a curse on this team and basically said that the curse would only be lifted after the entire team had passed away from the 1951 team. 75 years later, the last living member of those teams passed away, and then that's the stage, and now here you go. By the way, all-time call. Let's start from the top. The guy loses his pits, but
Green and red of Mayo was about to be heard all over the world. This is sensational. This is mind-boggling. This is a point.
Real quick, I know he's like saying, I mean, I get the history and you can see the crowd, but like to be like, hey, this is so sensational, and this is the guy's just literally throwing the ball through a hoop, like not even a hoop, a field goal. I get that there's a lot going on there, and there's probably a lot to this game I don't understand, but you know, if Tom Brady just like threw it through the fucking field goal to win a championship, that'd be like a little weird, right? I don't know. Anyways, from the top.
Was about to be heard all over the world. This is sensational. This is mind-boggling. This is a point. 75 years of heartbreak are about to end.
I mean, look at this.
1936, 1950, 1951, and surely now 2026. Listen to the roar. 75 years of heartbreak is over. Mayo are the All-Ireland Senior Football Champions 2020.
Oh, man. TikTok just got me. They said I'm doing unoriginal content, but oh, man, the next one's just as unoriginal. All this is unoriginal, these next couple contents. Sheesh. Anyways, going back to the Gaelic football, that's... Damn, they are on that shit quick. Let me tell you. They are on that shit quick. So, man. All right, it is what it is. Let's see what we can do. Excuse me. That's why we need napkins around here. All right, so to get back to the Gaelic football, 75 years. I mean, this is just a great story of just shows how awesome sports are. They really... Doesn't matter if your sport is not even cheered on to by half the people in the world. you can still get that type of passion out of your fan base, and to like take it matters forward even further. So I think if you just look, let's see what the top thing was. There's like them coming back. Look at this. I think I can show this TikTok. Look at this reception. This is a sport I didn't even know about like 4 days ago. And I'm English. I should know this type of stuff. I mean, what type of reception is that? I mean, shout out to Mayo. Yeah, I guess real name, real team. That's a fact. So, man, I really hope. I screwed myself there. I think TikTok really, they're quick on the draw. They don't mess around with that stuff. They don't want me rebroadcasting nothing. So it is what it is. It is what it is, my guys. It is what it is. We'll keep it going. So next on the list, another great thing we saw this week. Chicha Sanchez, the 5-1. Look at this guy. I'm going to just do pictures just because, I mean, look how short he is. I can't do the actual goal. Look at him. 5'1", 21 years old. Shout out Chicha Sanchez. I think it was his name. Chicha Sanchez. Shout out that kid. I mean, dang, I hate that TikTok just pulled me down like that. It's all right. We'll just pull TikTok down. We'll pull TikTok down. And that's okay. It's a shame. Dang shame. We were doing so well too, and then the Gaelic Irish football takes us down. It's all right. It happens to the best of us. We get a little lost in the sauce of watching copyright content, and they take us down. That's all that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen every once in a while. So, next best thing I saw this last night was this call from, who was the guy on the call?
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members, and the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in.
This is how you know sports season's slow, guys, when we're sitting here getting entertained by a squirrel getting chased by 15 different grounds crew members.
He gets away again, and hops through the towel, and hops through another towel.
Incredible call by that broadcaster. Incredible. So next topic, let's get into it. Paddy the Baddy. Look at this man. July 11th, absolutely shredded. And then July 27th, looking like me. He's absolutely making me feel so much better about myself and about what I did this past summer. I mean, the dates don't necessarily line up exactly the same, but they're almost the same. You just could put June 10th instead of July 10th, July 11th, and that would have been me. But tell you what, Paddy the Baddy, easily one of my favorite people. For those that don't know, Paddy Pimblett, he's known for doing this. He basically gets in incredible shape for all of his fights, and then after his fights, he just drinks a bunch of beer, eats a bunch of wings, has a bunch of food, and just lives his best life. And so these are real pictures of him on July 11th and then him on July 27th, genuinely looking like, well, I didn't look like the July 11th Paddy the Baddy before the World Cup. Nowhere near it. But I definitely look like the July 27th Paddy the Baddy post-World Cup. And so it just, makes me feel better about myself that it's not too bad. You can always let yourself go a little bit if you need to. That's all I'll say. Nothing wrong with that. You just got to get back on the grind. Get back on that treadmill. Put down the fork temporarily. And live your best life. That's all I'll say. So, where am I at? Next topic. Let's get into it. I got to get better at my transfers, guys. I'm a little all over the place today. Luke Littler. is doing a $500,000 challenge with Netflix to basically challenge all the dudes on Twitter that think they could beat him in darts for some reason. I
Reckon you could beat me in a game of darts? Let's go.
I don't think this is much of a story, guys. I mean, this is just a bunch of drunk dudes on Twitter claiming that they could beat him, and then him calling their bluff, and Netflix actually paying this guy to do it because they know that they'll obviously never beat this man. He is the best in the world at darts for a reason. It's not like, Jerry from down the street who's, after 3 pints of Guinness can't miss a fucking bullseye. Like, that doesn't mean this guy all of a sudden just needs to be discovered and this event is going to be the thing. I mean, I hope it happens. I'll tell you that much. If somehow, some way, I mean, that'd be so incredible if some dude from Pittsburgh or something just showed up, just absolutely one eye open, hammered, and just went to town on Luke Littler. I mean, that would be, pause, phrasing. Maybe not go to town on Luke Littler is the way to say it. Because how old is Luke Littler? Is he 18 yet? Let's see. How old is Luke Littler? 19. So I guess you can go to town on Luke Littler if you feel the need to. But it would be an incredible story. I mean, Netflix, they'd have to pay out 500,000 bones, and they would pay it in a heartbeat to have that content of this drunk dude from fucking Pittsburgh walking in on one leg with 14 Guinness deep, throwing a perfect 9 darter or whatever the hell they call it. It really would be. It would be great. It would be great. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that the darts needs to be a sport that needs to be grown, but I guess if this is what you're doing, this is the way to do it. If you're gonna try and grow darts to some extent, the best way to do it is send Luke Littler on a challenging streak. Have him go around the nation. Don't even do it just on Netflix. Have him go to different bars all around the nation, host different events, like the Orlando Luke Littler Invitational. The invite is you need to be 2 beers deep and you can get to throw darts, something like that. It would be really cool. Have him tour around the entire world of just beating everybody in darts. That's how you do find the hidden talent. But let me tell you something. Filming something in LA with him outside of the Netflix theater or something. I mean, it's not really gonna do it for me. Not gonna lie. Anyways, next topic, right? Yes, next topic. Oh no, my audio out. My audio. There we go. We're back. We back. So Twitter wars, to transfer Twitter wars. Let me actually take you to the right spot. I gotta get a little better at that, guys. My bad. So for those that don't know, Yan Diamant, it has been reported by Fabrizio Romano. You might have seen my parody videos on the TikToks, but Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Yan Diamante is going to Real Madrid for a fee of over 100 million euros for the Ivorian winger. Diamante is set to fly to Madrid this week for medical tests and contract signing for until June 2031. And then on the same day, shortly after, so this was at 2:56, July 26, and then on 5:25, July 26, Real Madrid is expected to sign Yan Diamante. First bid rejected. Second bid, 100 million fixed, 120 million package set to be rejected, but agreement likely soon. So it's just been a little, there's been a little bit back and forth online about Dave Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. I mean, for those that don't remember, for those that remember from last year, Fabrizio Romano famously tweeted out that Mark Gay is going to Liverpool, and then was even clowning on people on Twitter, saying told you he would be, literally replying to people in DMs and stuff. And then Mark Gay, he went to Man City, so that was neither here nor there. And then he also maybe tweeted out that Morgan Gibbs-White was going to Tottenham, and then Morgan Gibbs-White ended up staying at Nottingham Forest. But that's also neither here nor there. This is just the source game, guys. You're going to get a source wrong every once in a while. I'm not in the source game personally. It sounds miserable, but what you have is now Dave Ornstein coming out and trying to kind of eat, well, I would say eat Fabrizio Romano's lunch. But if you really pull the curtain back, it's shit. Hold on. If you really pull the curtain back, I think Dave Ornstein may be doing a bit of the dirty bidding for Real Madrid, because he comes out, tweets, same day or the day before, Arsenal exploring move to sign Vinicius Jr., which would be absolutely huge. Obviously, Vinicius Jr. is the Brazilian winger who's probably the best left wing in the world right now when he's healthy. You know, it's debatable. There's other people in there, but Vinicius is probably top if you want to do that. This tweet went absolutely viral. 71 million views, 216,000 likes. By far Dave Ornstein's biggest tweet. But now it is being reported that Vinicius Jr. is going to stay at Real Madrid beyond this summer. Now, it's interesting because Fabrizio Romano actually did not tweet about this. So a lot of people were speculating that there's some, like I said, Dave Ornstein doing the dirty bidding for Real Madrid. That said, Dave Ornstein is pretty good with these type of things. He's really one of the more reliable sources on the internet. Very rarely gets a source wrong, or very rarely tweets out something that's not going to happen. But pretty easy to see what was going on here. There's a lot of Arsenal fans that kind of fantasize of what Vinny going to Arsenal would look like. Obviously, Vinny on the left, Saka on the right, put Gyökeres or more likely someone like Kai Havertz in the middle, and that's probably one of the top front lines in the world, like straight up. So, get what you will, I would say any Arsenal fan would have been excited to bring him in. I think the Kroenkes were probably, I think a lot of people were saying that Kroenkes wouldn't pay that much wages because he's looking for 400,000 a week at least. And what I would say is, if you know the Kroenkes, they're very much business people, and the amount of jersey sales and just exposure to Brazil, and you bring in Bruno Guimaraes and Vinicius Jr., the team is going to grow in a very large fashion. So I do think Kroenke would be down to do this, but I also think this was a bit of Ornstein doing the heavy lifting for Real Madrid, for Vinicius Jr. and his agent, trying to get him the money that he deserves, because obviously he's a big name, probably deserves to be paid a little bit of money. So, anyways, next on the list, this was the real drama with Fabrizio Romano. So Florian Plettenberg and Fabrizio got into it a little bit. Another one of the people on Twitter basically saying, one more quick note on Jan Diamante saga, because more and more things in the business are becoming a bit ridiculous. If there had already been a full agreement between RB Leipzig and Real Madrid, it would be possible to report the exact transfer fee, wouldn't it? The fact is, there still isn't one. Dun, dun, dun. That continues to be confirmed by Red Bull, Leipzig, Real Madrid, and the players' camp. If a $100 million bid was to be rejected, then it's obvious the final bid will be over $100 million, isn't it? Real Madrid expect to get a deal done over the line tomorrow, or at the latest during the course of next week. Diamante wants to join Real Madrid. So what he's basically saying is, someone out there, he's implying that somebody out there is tweeting about a fee of over $100 million, and that the deal is going to go through. And he's basically accusing Fabrizio Romano, which we just talked about here, of using the keywords a fee of over, knowing that it was rejected, and just believing that it's going to happen. And so somebody basically on Twitter picks up on this, says, despite Fabrizio's "here we go" with a little thinking face, he responds, "Don't worry, Diamante goes to Real Madrid as Klopp went to Germany. Ask about the fake news yesterday on Man City bidding $100 million Diamante when they've been out for days, and when Madrid were already advancing. They're good at talking about others, not even that good. They can't even tag me, but check your own news first, then talk about me." In terms of the source game. Those are motherfucking fighting words. All right. And so Plattenberg comes back, oh wow, by accusing us of fake news with Man City bidding. Never reported, but you unfortunately crossed the line. I never want to bring this up, but your Klopp reporting was simply ridiculous and disrespectful to every journalist who actually does proper reporting. One day after the DFB had already named him in an official statement, you posted a "here we go," posting a signing soon, and it's almost 1 week later. I honestly thought you'd have the decency not to do that. In other words, being the news was announced, and then he took that news and then reposted it basically a week later, trying to state that it was like his news. Anyone could have posted that Klopp HWG because it was obvious he was going to become Germany's head coach. Your report was based on probability, not actual state agreements. As long as you keep deleting false "here we goes" and posting results minutes before the final whistle just because of the algorithms and the need to be first in the race against 4-3-3 and score apps only to delete them 5 minutes later because Neymar scores, you should probably keep a lower sound overall. So he's, again, just, these are fighting words. Like, basically saying, you guess, you post stuff for engagement, calling them out on everything, do your business, we'll do ours, but accusing others of spreading lies is quite ironic coming from someone in your position. Good night. Plattenberg thought he fucking ripped him a new one, and he kind of did, but Fabrizio held back nothing back. You start accusing I crossed the line. Now at least I see you've learned how to tag. Very good. Ooh, got him with learn how to tag. Maybe I should share the message from a few years ago where you asked me, how can I increase followers, or your job is my motivation. You who are now teaching me how to do the job on here. But I'm not, you who are now teaching me how to do the job on here. That's so good. That's so Fabrizio. But I'm not going out of context as you did. I replied the same topic. Diamande, sharing your tweet saying, Man City ready to bid. You go on other topics. Keep going. In that case, better ask around Anfield about the number 10 shirt. He's bringing up a little Florian Wirtz thing. I mean, this is, these guys go back and forth for a little bit. Long story short, a little bit of drama in the transfer market paradise. But anyways, let's get into some actual transfer market news. Leeds United buy James Trafford for Manchester City. Honestly, James Trafford got completely boned by Manchester City. He joined last year as this starter, played one game, didn't play that great. It is what it is, you know. Like, that's what happens. But they go and get Donnarumma on loan, and then this guy never played again. So this was England's best prospect coming up in terms of a keeper. And so, I mean, I'd rather him play for City and actually continue to do well. But, going to Leeds is just as good as, it's not just as good as not. It's going to be very, very difficult. But hopefully he can string together some clean sheets and build up some reputation and get into a better position, because Jordan Pickford is getting older, and as an England fan, we need somebody to come up because there's nobody right now. On top of that, Chelsea. We did a joke about Morgan Rogers. Well, they are also getting older, I guess. For some reason, they're bringing in Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson. So 2 very, very old. Here you go. This is perfect. Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson rocking up the Cobham for the preseason. That's as good as it gets right there. Another one, Inter Milan in negotiations to sign John Stones as a free agent. I know we talked about him maybe going to Arsenal. To be honest, he's 32 years old. Bit dated on the center back. He's got very rarely stays healthy. So, good. If he can go to Inter Milan, that'll be huge. And then next on the docket is Orlando City. Is there a better view I got here? Hold on. Let's go here. Perfect. Orlando City. I gotta say, guys, we may be all in. This team, it's 2 very, very big wins. Nashville and San Jose. Back-to-back clean sheets. This team hadn't had a clean sheet in over a year. Now, look, I know I might have shit on the MLS a little bit, and rightfully so. There's a lot we'll talk about in a sec. Things that we could improve with the MLS. Ways that we could improve the MLS. But Orlando City beating Nashville, top of the East, 1-0, and then also going into San Jose and beating them 4-0 is really impressive. The other great things out of this, the MLS absolute sellouts in, I think, 15 or 16 of the 20 or so games that were active over the weekend. Orlando City being one of those. The crowd was electric. The post World Cup, hype is very real. I've had more people ask me about Orlando City than I've ever had. I've had more people talking about Orlando City than I ever have. I have friends in other cities talking about their teams. It's just what you get from the World Cup. And this is also what you get when you bring in a guy like Antoine Griezmann. I mean, Griezmann is fully bought in, and you can see that. And he showed up 3 weeks early to camp, in the summer camp. He really helped instill his, the Atletico Madrid mid-block identity into what they were trying to operate. And you've seen it in the back-to-back clean sheets. And also, at the 90th minute, he's screaming at people. He's running from side to side of the pitch, defending the right wing, defending the left wing, running the ball out for a clearance. I mean, really all in. And this is, for what's considered supposed to be a farmers and retirement league, this is what you want to see. This is what you want to see. And if Griezmann and Orlando City can build into something, Son and LAFC can build into something, obviously with Inter Miami, Casemiro and Messi and Luis Suarez, they're building something. And so you're really actually starting to feel the star power coming into the mix. And so for me, I'm in. I'm not going to get tickets just yet. We got the Magic tickets. I think I've pissed Zoe off enough, dragging her to 41 Magic games a year, sometimes games on the road too. So we're not gonna get tickets just yet. We were thinking about it. Maybe we'll go to a couple cup games. Maybe we'll go to a game here or there. But we're not gonna do tickets just yet. But we're on board. And so what does that mean? So I do think the MLS has some things they need to change. I talked about promotion relegation. The USL is huge, so there's a huge, top amount of professional soccer leagues teams in America is enough to do 3 different leagues of about 20, right? Maybe 15, right? So promotion relegation needs to come into play. I also think spend minimums and spend caps need to come into play. It's really difficult to do something like that when you're trying to bridge someone like Messi into the league, right? And you're giving him a percentage of ticket sales and media right sales. Like that obviously becomes really extensive to some degree, and the growth that Messi offers the league versus what you might sacrifice in parity is probably worth it, right? And so those get a little bit sticky, but I do think there needs to be some type of cap in place to prevent teams from being too good. But I also think a spend minimum will help push teams to invest more. And I think if these sellouts keep being the way they are, and then you go from, the 15 million salary teams, then push it up to 40 to 50 million, where Inter Miami is, then all of a sudden you have 5, 6, 7. If you have 6 Inter Miamis, you have a very competitive league. And so the league is moving in the right direction. I do think promotion and relegation will help it become even more of a exciting thing, because when the thing about promotion relegation is not about the top end, it's the bottom end. It makes the bottom exciting. It makes, when you're losing, obviously it sucks, but it makes you want to make sure that you're paying attention to make sure that you're not getting relegated, right? So you have a system that is in place right now with MLS that does not incentivize or disincentivize losing, which can be a little tough to some degree. But I do think putting some soft caps in place so you don't have just one team like Miami spending all the money and making all the money, but allow them to push the cap further based on how much they're generating, right? So promotion relegation, I think it's probably a bit of a nightmare from a finance and business investment model. And so the owners are paying for permanent spots. I don't think this is as possible as most people are saying. I'm going to keep talking about it, hoping that it's going to happen. That's all I'll say. So, I mean, MLS Cup, here's your percentages, kind of what I was talking about. The parity's kind of there, right? Obviously, Miami was such a high percentage. I think if it was guaranteed Messi and Casemiro and all these people were playing, this would be a lot higher. So Vancouver, LAFC, Nashville, Chicago, Cincinnati, Seattle, and San Jose are probably the top 6 to 8 teams in the league. Obviously, there's no Orlando City on this. They have not played very well until these last 2 games. So we'll see if there's just a blip in the pan or if they're actually going to hold on to this. But you know what? I was desperate for sports ball, and they got me. There was nothing on this weekend. I threw it on. I watched some goddamn MLS, and I was proud of it. Anyways, let's get into the next topic. Shit. I need to be more prepared for this, guys. Lando Norris is back on the pole, and I am in the wrong spot. That should work. There we go. Oh, wow, that's tiny. Zoom in for you. F1 was in Budapest this weekend, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lando Norris taking the pole. Max Verstappen second, and Kimi Antonelli third. Norris looked really, really strong, and it was a hell of a weekend, but it was not without controversy. So for those that don't know, Budapest is a bit like, or the Hungarian Grand Prix is a bit like Monaco without the walls, basically. It's a very tight track. There's very little overtaking. There's very short straightaways. So there's not really, there's just not many opportunities or any iconic turns that people can make the passes on that they need. It really is going to be a bit of a, how do you manage your stops? How do you manage your undercuts? How do you manage your clean air? How do you manage your tires? How do you manage, if people are getting in your way or not? And so Lando had a really incredible weekend, especially on the qualifier. I think he out-qualified by 0.012. Ended up being not too much because Lewis ended up getting a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Piastri. So he dropped him from P2 to 5th. Kimi Antonelli also got a 3-place penalty for a yellow flag infringement. Again, these are just little things that kind of added to the story. And so Leclerc inherited a P2, and Piastri lined up on the 3rd block to start. Piastri had a great start, passed Lando, looked in a poised position for his first victory and first pole of the season, and ran into a bit of bad luck, pitted first in the team order. He was in first, so it made sense. Lando really put it on once Oscar pitted, started turning out really quick laps. Oscar got caught behind basically the back of the line, trying to get around them that weren't recognizing the blue flags. And a blue flag, for those who don't know, is basically if you're getting lapped, you get a blue flag notice to get the fuck out of the way. And so Carlos Sainz, one of Oscar's friends, actually didn't get out of the way, and he was battling for 19th place or whatever, and ran into Oscar Piastri, which, you're battling for first, and get the guy in 20th runs into you, you're going to be really fucking frustrated. I mean, you could see it in Oscar's face. But all that to be said, as Lando Norris fans, we'll take it. We will take it. So, shout out Lando. Hell of a race. McLaren really came into this weekend with some big improvements. So here's your current driver standings. Obviously, Kimi Antonelli kind of running away with it, but Lewis Hamilton's still in play. George Russell also kind of lingering around. And Norris, I mean, McLaren has not had a great season. You can see that in their standings. They've obviously performed 3rd best out of the top 3 teams. And so when you have a team that's really struggled early in the season, I don't think there's really going to be room. Norris, there's just no shot. Now Hamilton has a chance, but it's really Kimi Antonelli's race to lose. Now Oscar Piastri had a pretty big lead last season, and it takes one or two DNFs, and this thing flips on its head. So, and McLaren obviously brought a bunch of upgrades, and it showed. Are they in the title picture? Probably not, right? The constructors is probably a little closer if Ferrari can continue to pull out results, especially if George keeps faltering the way that he has. So all this to say, really, really great, race for McLaren other than Oscar, obviously. And then, the last thing about Oscar, talking about bad luck, his gearbox failed him with like 4 laps to go. So it was going to be a 1-2 finish. Maybe would have had issues with Verstappen, but it was going to be Lando-Oscar finish. Maybe even Oscar pushing Lando to try and race to end the race, and his gearbox failed him. So really just season from hell for Oscar, and you got to feel for the guy because he was really in pole position, no pun intended, to potentially win the championship last year. And now it's just all falling away from him. So poor guy. Next on the list, Tony Romo with the creepiest operating while under influence photo of all time. We do not have very much NFL news. The training camps do start up this week, and then Tony Romo got caught in Wisconsin operating while under the influence. I think he was playing in a charity golf tournament where he was like plus 35 or something going into the tournament. Or going into that Sundays, which, this might have something to do with it. You want to take a little word of the wise, kids. You get a DUI, OWI, whatever it is, maybe don't smile in the picture. This is the creepiest looking photo I've ever seen. And also, I guess an OWI in Milwaukee is just kind of like, drinking and driving, you should never do it. But hate George Russell. Phil, why do you hate George Russell? Tell me. You a Kimmy guy? I feel like as an Englishman, you should want George Russell to win, no? Charles, shut up. Sorry, my dog decided to join the conversation. Hate George Russell. It's all right. I don't like George Russell. I'm a Lando Norris guy, so it is what it is. But yeah, we'll see. George is a little bit of a whiny bitch. I will say the one thing I love about George Russell is he doesn't give a fuck, man. If it's the raining out, he'll throw the slicks on. This guy is willing to crash his car like anytime, any place. And I respect somebody that just does not give a fuck at that level. I really do. Anyway, he was like someone I would have bullied in high school, I think. But yeah, I mean, listen, he is kind of like, I get that. I feel like a lot of these kids probably would have got bullied in high school if they didn't end up being the fucking #1 driver in the world, right? Lando Norris is kind of cool, but I guess I see what you're saying. I'm a Kimi guy too. Listen, cool Italian, 19 years old. What more to like, Italians should be good drivers. I do think also George Russell can be a little bitch at times. So I feel you. Anyways, got back to Tony Romo, and kids, you get an OWI, just don't smile in the photo. This is the creepiest looking photo I've ever seen in my fucking life. So shout out Tony. I will say, in Wisconsin, getting an OWI that's like par for the course. You should never drink and drive, but this state is literally designed so that like your first DUI is called an OWI, which is operating while under the influence, and they give you like a $200 fine, and they like slap you on the wrist and tell you, get back out there, don't go driving so drunk next time. It's literally, the state laws are designed to be okay with getting caught drunk driving as long as you don't do it too much. So, I mean, kind of getting his Wisconsin stripes, if you will, for Tony Romo. But again, just the photo, he's got to take it down. You got to take it down a notch. Anyways, let's get into my final thing I want to talk about today. Where's my transitions? Shit. Here we go. I've reorganized everything, and it's just completely fucked me up, guys. I'm sorry. Now I'm all over the place looking for this shit. PCA is going to be the MVP this season. Phil, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about baseball here, but there's just nothing to talk about elsewhere. Like footy, there's some transfer news. We talked about Fabrizio Romano and him being, a bit of a guesser. We talked about LeBron James going to 76ers. It's the slowest week of the year for sports. So I'm going to take that time to talk about Pete Crow Armstrong. So for those that don't know, Pete Crow Armstrong has been on an absolute tear. The Chicago Cubs started the season in incredible form. They're the best team of the year, best team in the league. They then went on to lose 11 straight games after that and become one of the worst teams in the league. Then they won a game, and then they lost another 11 straight games. So it was like they were like 1-22 over like a month and a half span. And most teams would kind of mail it in and be like, this is it. We're not going to be any good. And to be honest, the Cubs kind of did do that, and they're calling it the curse of the White Sox lady because Pete Crow Armstrong, the guy on the screen here, basically he was in center field. The White Sox, the Chicago Cubs, hometown rival. There's a ball hit the center field. Some lady basically said, fuck you, Pete. And he said, suck my dick, bitch. And then basically, literally said, suck my dick, bitch. And then basically the Cubs started losing like crazy. So people were blaming him for that. And so he said, fuck you. That's not what's going to happen. I'm going to pull us out of the trenches and basically where he's at right now, he's hitting 290. So with 23 home runs, 60 runs batted in, 26 stolen bases. He's basically, the guy he's going up against is Shohei Ohtani. And the reason why Shohei Ohtani is so good is because he pitches and he hits, which nobody does that. He's the only guy that does that. I mean, people do that in like little league and shit. Like when you're really good and you're like that guy, you'll pitch and you'll hit, you'll do it all. But Shohei's doing it at the professional level, and it's actually incredible. Now, he has hurt his knee, and so it is seeming like he will not be pitching for the rest of the season. So what happened? The market moved heavily on PCA being MVP. 3 weeks ago, he was plus 3,000. As of this morning, he was plus 185. So kind of 2-to-1 odds. Ohtani's still favored at minus 235. So Ohtani's still favored. If Ohtani pitches, you can't really take it away from him because at the end of the day, the guy is really fucking good. Like, if you're doing both pitching and hitting, and you're fucking hitting the fuck out of the ball, you gotta give it to him. But the line on Pete, he's basically matching Ohtani straight up, right? 290 average versus 282. On base percentage 388 versus 387. Homers 23 versus 22, and he has a higher OPS of 932 versus 907. So he's the only player with 20 steals and 20 home runs, and he's on a pace to do a second straight year of 30 and 30 season. He just set the StatCast record with 33 career 5-star catches, whatever the fuck that means. The most of anyone since the stat began in 2016 by a landslide in the fewest amount of innings. Gold Glove center fielder. And he entered July with a 5.1 beat WAR. Now, guys, I'm an analytics guy, but I'm not that deep. But when it gets to WAR and B WAR, and I know WAR is wins above replacement. So, like, how many wins are you contributing to the team above the guy that you could replace you? And so when you have a really high 7 WAR, you're basically significantly better than the next guy below you, right? But it's not even close, right? And so over the last 55 games, he's run at 211 WRC plus with a 1.161 OPS and a 14.8% walk rate, which equals out to 5.7 FOR. These are numbers I don't fucking know, guys. I'm just reading off a fucking page at this point. But he's basically carried the Cubs. Now, I will say he's a joy to watch. Like, if you have a chance to sit down and watch a Cubs game, I mean, be there for Pete Crow Armstrong because he's got swagger. He's got it all. The bat flips, the plays in the outfield, the home runs, the stolen bases, anytime he's on base or anytime he's at the plate, it's electric. And in June, he hit 381 with 11 home runs, which is an echo to Sammy Sosa's 1998 June, which was like one of his best month of his career. So this is not, it also just doesn't seem like, where am I going with this? So the growth also seems very real, right? So last season, 217 on base percentage against lefties. So when you're a left-handed hitter and you're facing a left-handed pitcher, significantly harder because you see the ball for less time. So I know it doesn't seem like they can see the ball for very long anyways, but you do get like a 0.5 second longer attempt because if you're thinking about it, if you're a left-handed pitcher and you're throwing at a left-handed batter, you're hiding behind their shoulder, right? Now, if you're a right-handed pitcher on a left-handed batter, you're seeing that ball all the way out here, and you're on the opposite side, so you see it longer, and you can see the pitch. So as a baseball player, you're going to hit better against the opposite arm. So lefty pitcher, a righty hitter hits better against lefty pitchers, and vice versa. Righty batter against lefty pitchers, and lefty batter against righty pitchers. So it's important to look at these metrics because obviously you're going to do really well against somebody that is on the right-hand side, but how do you do against the matchups, right? Because when it gets into the postseason and you get into the knockout rounds in these games, you basically have managers shifting pitching around based on your results. So if you can't hit lefty pitching, and you get to the 7th inning and you got runners on base, let me tell you what they're going to put out there. A lefty fucking pitcher, right? So why is this important? Last year, he was a 217 on base percentage, 148th out of 148 qualified hitters, dead last in baseball against lefties. So in other words, last season, if worst came to worst, throw out a lefty pitcher, most likely Pete's not going to do well against it. Against lefties in 2026, he's at a 387 on base percentage. It's 27th out of 187 people. His walk rate is also more than doubled. So his plate discipline is through the roof from 4.5% to 11.5% with barely any more strikeouts. So it's basically what was seen to be is one of the biggest jumps of all time in terms of walk rate of any pitcher or any hitter to ever play the game. So these numbers are just absolutely absurd. Like they really are. And so here's another great, let me pull this into full screen. Sorry, we're not moving to the next topic. I just forgot to switch my transfer. But this is a really great demonstration on look at this. So 2024 to 2025 batting run value, 24th, 64th to 98th percentile. Look at the 2026. Somehow he's gotten slower. I don't know how that happened. It's the only thing that went down. I guess arm strength also went down. That just seems outs above average. I mean, the batting average on balls in play, 96th percentile. I mean, he's hitting the fucking shit out of the ball. Average exit velo, I mean, guess not. He's 66. This is where you could see more. But still, I mean, he's barreling up the ball 73% of the time. That's actually the only one that took a little bit hit, 25, 20, 26. So, I mean, the guy is just absolutely dialed the fuck in. So here's the honest framing of it all. Ohtani's offense numbers are down. And his knee injury has paused his pitching. He may not pitch again until September, right? So strip the pitching and it's PCA's reward. I mean, ESPN even tweeted out the other day about if without Ohtani's pitching, he'd be 6th best in the MVP voting, right? So, and so to be fair to him, though, he's still the favorite. Still a 4-time MVP. He's chasing his 5th. So only Barry Bonds has done that. He does deserve it. This isn't really necessarily a case of Ohtani not being deserving of it. I don't want it to turn into that because at the end of the day, he is probably the most valuable player when he's doing both pitching and hitting. But I think it's a realistic conversation to have that if he stops pitching and you have somebody like Pete that's done so well to, like, I can't even emphasize how much he's been the person that pulled us out of this slump. That he's been the guy that has done all the, hard work, made all the plays, stolen bases when they were needed, hit super clutch home runs. Sorry, I can't stop sneezing. Like, it's not, very rarely is baseball a one-man sport. It almost never is, because there's a pitching staff that changes every day. There's a bullpen. There's 9 hitters. There's defenders, everything. But in terms of individual contributions, when you say the word most valuable player, it has to be him or Ohtani. And if you take out Ohtani's pitching, it has to be Pete in terms of actual contributions to the team. And this is more of a knock on how good the Dodgers actually are. They just have such an incredible team that Ohtani could realistically not be in the lineup, and they would still be first in their division, and they'd still probably be top odds for winning the championship. If you took Pete out of the Cubs lineup, they would be a bottom feeder team. And I think that's the main argument that you have to make. I want to say bottom feeder. That's a little aggressive to say. They would be struggling to stay above 500 without Pete. Whereas the Dodgers without Ohtani would probably still be the Dodgers. And I think that's the one thing you got to really focus on as Cubs fans in our argument with this. If Pete stays on the trajectory that he's in, I mean, the Cubs have a real good chance to win the World Series, in my opinion. And if we bring in Skubal as well, it's game over. I mean, I want to say it's game over. Just get these fucking fuck you differential portfolio. I don't want your fake AI users. Nobody does. Nobody cares. You're probably AI, and I'm just talking to AI. This is just a fucking bot right now, but nobody wants your fucking viewers. All right. Anyways, so that's my case for Pete. I think he deserves it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm doing the little thing, Phil, because, I'm going to have to post this on the social medias. Anyways, let's wrap up the show. Let me see. I got to get better at my transfers, boys. We got to get better with the transfers. We're an hour and 15 in. Not too bad for the slowest week of the sports season. Obviously, we got Prem kicking off in less than a month. We got NFL training camp right around the corner. So we got some fantasy football stuff will be kicking off. Really just, we got fun times ahead. So, I was going to talk about this today, but my knee's been fucking hurting. But here's the deal. We're hoping that this is going to happen. I don't want to make this bet until I'm for sure okay. But basically, my friend said that I was a large person and challenged me to running a marathon. I told him I'm an athlete and I can run a marathon if I wanted to run a marathon. And he basically said, all right, bet. I'll bet you 50 grand you can't run a marathon. And so naturally, we are now training to run a marathon. Now, my knee has started hurting as of yesterday. So we will see. I'm also weighing in at a whopping 244 pounds. And I run a modest 40-minute 5K. And I'm trying to run this in under 14 minutes. So, as you can imagine, I got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. But I do think we're going to be training for this. We'll be recording all of it. We're going to the Marines run. I think it's the Marines run in DC in October. So we're talking about, 3 months from now, a little bit more. Yeah, a little over 3 months from now. And we get to run through DC, all the monuments, all that shit. It should be really cool. So it should be fun. We'll be training for this. I'll be posting probably not daily content just because I don't know. I mean, the whole idea of how do you know somebody's running a marathon? You don't have to, because they'll tell you. I don't want to be that guy that's posting that I'm waking up at 5 a.m. like the Ashton Hall thing, where like setting up my camera as I'm getting out of the bed or some shit. Like I don't know if I'm gonna do all that, but we'll be posting content. I'll be posting progress, and obviously when we do the race, maybe if I can get in a good enough shape to carry a live streaming backpack, or maybe I can convince my brother to bike next to me or something. I don't know. We'll stream it all. It will be fun. It should be a blast. But anyways, that's our show today. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Follow all our pages for the Trading Saga for our next feed or our next show. We'll be going live Thursday. We have a big interview that we're recording tomorrow that I think if we get edited in time, we'll put live for Thursday. So we've met some cool people at the World Cup, and so we'll be able to get some interviews live here on the show. Should be a really good time. So we'll post that on Thursday during the show, and we're training to run a marathon. So appreciate y'all time. Love you guys, and we'll see y'all Thursday.
See, I'm back on my bullshit. Came a long way from school, bitch. We them niggas been banging and walking with full clips. Pocket filled with them blue strips. All I hang with the solid, can't fuck with no loose lips. If he ran, cut him loose quick. If a fuck nigga try, bet his ass make the news quick. Hit his ass with these blue tips.